Plaintiff, Brandis Sturdivant, dated the defendant for 5 years, and after they moved in together, things went downhill. Brandis claims the defendant's father never approved of their homosexual lifestyle, and she's suing her ex-girlfriend today for 2 unpaid credit card bills. Defendant Juanita Rodriguez insists her father is not homophobic. He just didn't like Brandis. Juanita claims Brandis has anger issues, and she was not only violent with Juanita's children, but she also broke Juanita's nose. She's countersuing for emotional distress.
Start with you.
Me and the defendant, we dated for about 4.5, 5 years. It started out all right. Then I moved in with her and her father and her children. Her dad really didn't approve of our relationship.
No.
Her
Why?
kids,
No.
because we're 2 females,
That's a lie.
naturally.
Gotcha.
And her children, they were very disrespectful. They were rude.
As disrespectful as you?
And I felt like if I'm helping you, you know, with your kids, I don't feel like I should be
You help too?
disrespected.
Ma'am, I'll let you speak in a minute. Give me some examples. And tell me how her father showed his disapproval.
You know, he would say little things, you know, about us dating.
A person who wants to discriminate against someone like that based on their sexuality is less likely to let them stay in their house. He wouldn't let you stay there if he had a problem with you all's
Exactly.
relationship, in my opinion. And what little things would he say?
I mean, he didn't really like it, you know. He would,
What did he say?
He didn't like you.
you know, he would say, you know, different things like, you know, you guys aren't supposed to be together. I don't really approve of it. And he didn't like me as a
Exactly.
person
Thank you.
as well, on top of,
As a person.
you know, us
All right.
dating.
Female
Okay,
or
if he
male?
was that bothered by it, I don't know if he'd let you live there. If someone is so homophobic
Exactly.
that they don't want you to stay there, a lot of it has to do with them not being able to accept it emotionally. And you're not going to look at something every day or a couple every day that you can't accept emotionally. Now, I know some folks say, well, the Bible says, well, the Bible always also says don't fornicate. The Bible also says don't have adultery, but you don't hear the preacher talking about that as much.
No, I mean, he wasn't
All
that-
right,
he
I'm
wasn't
making
like
my
that.
point. Now, with regard to your relationship with the defendant, it was the kids that got in the way, you say, her children?
Her children, they didn't like me either.
How would they show their displeasure with you?
They were disrespectful.
Why?
We had plenty of times where
They
we
didn't
got
like you because you're
into
mean to them.
arguments. Like I said, I felt like if I'm helping you with your kids, I feel like, you know, you should try to, you know, keep them in line. She would ask me to take them to school. I would have problems all the time. I would have to call her like, you know, your kids is acting up. They would hop out of cars, not listen. All types
All
of
right,
different, all
got
types
it.
of different.
Ma'am, you tell me about it. We'll get to the credit card bills she's suing for, but let me allow you to give your background.
Okay, Brandis is right. We dated for about 4.5 years. We broke up all the time because of her anger problems and because she was just cheating all the time. And so it was like on again, off again. Like we would break up, she would promise to go to counseling and she's gonna do better. And so I
Counseling
would
for
take
cheating?
for her anger.
Okay.
Yeah, for her anger. She needed counseling for cheating too, probably. But the main problem was her anger and how she was always trying, like she put her hands on me, she put her hands on my kids.
How
Often enough for it to be a problem, yeah.
More than a few times a year? Not that that's acceptable at all.
Yeah.
Just trying to get a gauge.
Yeah, more than a
Really?
few times a year.
All right.
And
not true.
she would fight my kids. She fought my son. She grabbed my daughter, pushed her up against the wall. She broke my nose. That's not true. That's not true. You fought your mama. Your mama had to call the police on you. How many
That's
times?
not true. That's not true. We got into
Okay.
an argument at my mom's house.
Okay, you
Your son
fought your
tried to
mama
fight
though.
me.
I mean, you try to fight everybody.
No,
Say that's not true.
That's not true.
She would fight my kids. She fought my son. She grabbed my daughter, pushed her up against the wall. She broke my nose. That's not true. That's not true. You fought your mama. Your mama had to call the police on you. How many
That's
times?
not true.
Defendant Juanita Rodriguez dated the plaintiff, and she claims the plaintiff punched her and broke her nose.
Ma'am, let me hear about the credit card bills.
In 2013, I opened up an account for JB Robinson's, and the agreement was we were gonna split everything down the middle. In 2014, I opened up an account for Lens Crafters. We needed glasses, and again, we were gonna split everything down the middle. So I'm suing her for her half for the JB Robinsons, which is $1,112, and her half of the Lens Crafters for $474, which totals $1,586.
All right, you have anything over there in terms of the bills, the value?
Yeah.
What do you say to this, ma'am?
First of all, they were gifts that you bought me. Why would I pay for my own gifts?
I don't know.
And
you agreed to pay.
I know, I did not agree to
gifts or
pay.
not?
No, if they
Okay.
were gifts, I would
They were
agree
gifts.
to
She
pay.
says they weren't.
They were $500, an earring and a bracelet you bought me as gifts.
I
What
got
time
text
of year
messages.
was it?
Around Mother's Day when she bought me my earrings and my bracelet
Is
and
that
my
correct?
charms.
Was it around Mother's Day?
We bought numerous different.
No,
This,
you
we're
bought
talking about
numerous
these. We're
stuff.
talking about
I'm not
these.
paying for
You're
your
suing for
earrings.
this. You're
and-
not
That's what I'm
suing
talking
I'm
for
not paying for
numbers.
that.
That's
No,
what I'm
why
talking
would
about.
I wouldn't even? I'm not paying
Due
for my
date,
gift.
this is, ma'am, this is December. This is, I don't see anything talking about May. I see October and December. Now, unless they've changed Mother's Day, this has nothing to do with Mother's
for
Day.
for which items though?
Are the exact items on here?
No. Like I said,
Exactly.
we bought numerous amounts of
You
things. We
bought
gifts
numerous amounts
for
of
her
stuff.
parents, for her daughter, for my mom, for
No.
us, and we agreed that we were
You
gonna
bought
both
your
have-
mama a
have-
Were you
necklace.
both on it?
No.
No, it's
just you.
in my name. I have text
And,
messages.
All right. Your counterclaim for $1,000 for emotional distress. You have some other evidence? Get it together. Let me
Yeah.
hear from you regarding this emotional distress as she gets her evidence together.
Okay. I also have statements from my father and my son and my daughter and
About what?
About the emotional
Tell me.
distress that we all went through. I'll start with the time that she broke my nose and damaged my eye. Was right before Thanksgiving of
what year?
2010, and she had asked my son to do something, and he had mumbled something under his breath, and she was always cussing all of us
How
out.
old was your son? Or
At that
At that
time?
time?
What is it? So that's 4 years. So he's like 14.
And what happened?
He said something back to her when she started cussing him out, and I was like, "Don't talk to my children like that, and let me deal with that." So,
But you got to deal with it. You didn't deal with it.
okay, I did deal with it, but not in the way you wanted me to deal with it.
They disrespected you. They
they-
cussed you out.
Okay.
They fought with you.
No, you cussed me out and
How many times
disrespected
did
me.
your son
Come
jump
on.
out of a car and I had to-
Anyway, because of you.
It had nothing to
And
do with
so anyway, I was trying to tell her.
So far, you're over there admitting to being confrontational with her children.
Exactly.
Said because you wouldn't do it, that suggests that you did it.
I'm
Go
asking her
ahead.
to be the adult, just be quiet, be the adult. So she was irate, like I said, and I was telling her to shut up and stuff like that. And she punched me. When I turned like this, she started punching me in the side of my head and hit my eye and my nose. My nose was broke. I had to wear sunglasses for probably more than a week because my nose was broke. Both of my eyes were black. My eyeball was actually swollen, and I had to go to an ophthalmologist. They gave me steroids to shrink my eyeball back down. And
That's
we went to
certainly
the
enough
hospital.
for emotional distress if that occurred. Ma'am, what do you say to that? And do you have any other evidence
You
regarding?
didn't break my nose,
those
Brandis?
text messages. Me and her son, we got into it.
But did you break my
These are
nose?
text messages between the two of you? Go ahead. Tell me
Me and
that
her son
as
got
I...
into it. He charged after me. In between
At
that,
14?
she got punched in between that.
You punched
I took
me.
her
You
to the
snuck me.
hospital.
You
I took her
snuck
to
me.
the hospital, and we went home after that.
You
More
cried.
than
No,
once,
you
we've
stayed the night
had
at your brother's house and you were
physical
crying. Like, I'm about to
altercations.
take you to the hospital.
Quiet,
I'm telling them I
ma'am.
did this.
More than once, we've had physical altercations. Anytime she's been hurt, it's because it was a mutual battle between me
Really?
and her.
Really?
It wasn't just I just punched her and I broke her nose. If that
Okay.
was the case, why would
Okay.
you stay with somebody who just
Okay.
punched you and broke your nose?
Because I
Ma'am,
love
most,
you, and you-
most of your testimony regarding the family life has been she wouldn't chastise her kids, the essence of what you were saying.
no.
And if I'm providing this and that, and they have to listen to what I say, I'm convinced, ma'am, that...
Would you like to see the statements, Your Honor?
Yes, see it.
Okay.
Statements from whom?
They're my daughter, my son, and my father.
Yeah, but this testimony, you have any records from your, well, I guess you just want emotional distress. She is very angry and she put me, my daughter, and my grandchildren through a lot of stress. In June, she was calling me constantly, threatening my daughter and just being really crazy, and she knows I have a heart condition. She said she didn't care. I ended up having to go to the hospital and was admitted because my heart was out of rhythm. They had to have my heart shot back in the normal rhythm. She is always yelling at my mom and calling her names. She has threatened to kill all of us more than once, and she has actually pulled a gun. Ma'am, did you ever pull a gun?
No, Your Honor.
You don't have a gun, Brandis?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, thug. You thugged out in Lansing, Michigan, though.
She has hit me, my brother, and my mom. She has threatened to kill us. She has threatened to kill us and even pulled a gun. Everyone says that. Why haven't you all called the police?
Exactly.
This woman pulls out guns
because if
on
I
your
call
children
the police, I'm gonna. You call the police on me, I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna do this.
You make no police report. Excuse me. Sorry.
Defendant Juanita Rodriguez dated the plaintiff, and she claims the plaintiff punched her and broke her nose.
I'm looking at this. Defendant, you say we got to pay lens crafters. It's $30 a piece. You say, okay, just show me the bill.
Okay, I asked her to show me because she was harassing me constantly. I'm like, please, yes, you were. Yeah. You were calling my job to the point where they stopped.
Why would you agree to pay for something that
you
was a gift?
stalked me outside of my job when you and my son got in a fight.
The woman pulled guns on your children, you never called. The woman bust you and bust up your nose and your eye socket and you never called. I don't know about that.
But there's no police report.
See there you go. Interrupting. So when people say that, that gives me the impression that they're guilty. See, there's no evidence. There's no evidence of it. There's no police report.
Exactly.
I did it, but there's no evidence.
I mean, I did
That's how that
though.
sounds. All right, you broke this woman's nose, I believe. $1,000 for your emotional distress. $1,586 is your judgment for the credit card bills. Good luck to you. That's my decision.
She knows she was lying. She owed me the money.
Exactly.
I mean, I'm not tripping. They all collaborated their story. Hats off to her.
Yep.
At the end of the day, she knows what it is.
Okay. You've always just been a liar and a cheater.
Yes, I was a cheater.
And that's what you do. And you're angry and you're physically
It is what it is.
Abusive. So it is what it is. I'm happy with the judgment.
You're bitter.
Exactly. Bitter. You're the one. Oh,
bitter.
You're the one that always is trying to get back with me.
You're bitter.
Never bitter.